I'm slowly but surely getting used to this whole thing. Slowly but surely, I'm getting used to it. I think the whole 15, 20, 30-minute live stream thing kind of really is kind of where my groove is at this point. Again, I don't like doing live streams because, especially when in front of a camera, just by myself, I feel a lot of pressure to go like, oh shit, I'm Colin Cowherd, or Howard Stern for some of you old heads out there. For those watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a Carolina Panthers jersey. One of the topics I'm going to talk about happens to be dealing with the Carolina Panthers. And for also watching on YouTube and Facebook, yes, that is a flaming light bulb that you see. It's flickering. Deal with the smooth vibes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Staniel Smooth. I'm coming to you from the lovely beaches of Long Island, New York. Part of the Belly Up Sports and Belly Up Media Networks. This is the Staniel Smooth Show. I hope to be doing this daily, but at the same point, it's really hard to come up with shit to talk about on the daily. But at the same point, we like to have some fun around here, have a good time, talk some shit, and why not? So, that being said, let's get to the root of the problem, shall we? That's my coffee cup for those only listening. It's iced coffee. It is 7:47 at night, and I'm doing a live stream. But let's get to the first part of why we're here. Yesterday, as we're recording, the Carolina Panthers have announced that they are benching quarterback Bryce Young. First overall pick in 2023 out of the University of Alabama, Heisman Trophy winner, blah, blah, blah. You get the gist. And he was supposed to be the quote-unquote saving grace for Carolina, which, as of right now, is not happening. Because that organization is a fucking dumpster fire. Let's be honest here. Carolina their fan base is proud. We are very well aware of the history of that great fan base, which dates back to 1995, yes. And that area, Charlotte, North Carolina, very devoted not only to the Panthers, but to University of North Carolina over at Chapel Hill, over at Durham, North Carolina with Duke. Devoted sports area are the Carolinas. Devoted as shit. We're very well aware of this. The Panthers' first ownership group was led by former NFL player Jerry Richardson, who sold the team, I believe it was 2018, to David Tepper. In Tepper's ownership of the Panthers, the team has gone from, hey, we can do something, to, oh God, why is the room spinning? Why is the room spinning and I am upside down? That is, if I'm wrong, the experience of the Panther fan. And I am not a Panther fan by any stretch. Don't believe me? I have a Seahawk tattoo on this bicep. To my left. Carolina is a fucking mess. They traded up from, what the hell was it, the 9th pick in 2023 to the first overall pick with Chicago. Traded way too damn much to the Bears. And drafted Bryce Young because David Tepper wanted Bryce Young. He publicly said, I wanted Bryce Young. Okay, great. Problem. The rest of your team is hot fucking garbage. The rest of the Panthers are terrible. Terrible. Absolutely awful. And if you don't believe me, their offensive line, which was supposed to be a upgrade this season, has been hot fucking garbage. Ike Ekwonu, who was their first round pick in 22, I want to say. What happened to him? Because he's been awful. He's been downright terrible. And your two big free agent moves of Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt can't seem to block to save their damn lives. Lewis, I can speak from experience because Seahawk draft pick. Got way too much damn money than I thought he was going to get. But Bryce Young basically publicly came out and said, yeah, I'm open to anything as regards to potential trade. Yeah. If I'm Bryce Young, I demand a trade immediately. And I say, trade me by the deadline. Carolina's good. Do it. If Bryce Young requests a trade, he's going to get traded. But we as fans and as content creators, as podcasters, radio hosts, whatever, we love to play the blame game. We love to play this theoretical blame game of, hey, who gets the biggest slice of blame pie, as Bob Skelton would say over at Seattle Sports. Who gets the biggest slice of blame pie? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? Is it the ownership? To me, it's the fucking ownership. And it's too obvious. Tepper has basically punted on this experience of Bryce Young. Bryce ain't helping his situation either, because not only is he 5'10", basically, he's Russell Wilson's height. Essentially. I think he's a little taller than Russ. But he's also small in build. He's not helping himself at all. But you could argue and say, oh, Dan, you try playing NFL quarterback. It's like, no. Do you see my build? And do you know how old I am? I'm not being a fucking quarterback. I'm also too fucking stupid to know the playbook. Modestly, of course. And Carolina is in the worst possible position that they can be. And that is, you are in limbo and in downright hell. That's a problem. And I don't think it's going to be fixed until... Tepper also needs to stay out of football decisions. When he's gotten himself involved when it comes to the roster, he's gotten himself involved when it comes to the coaches. He's gotten himself involved, rightfully so, when it comes to general managers and the president and blah, blah, blah. But there comes a point where you need to say, dude, enough. Just flat out enough. And it's amazing how this shindig keeps going on, where owners, in not just football, but baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer to a certain degree, but because I don't know, get involved with team building decisions. It's the worst thing you can do. You know what'd be cool as shit to do right now? Lights are on now. Spaceship. My chair lights up. I like these things. Another rant that I want to get to. And this one's relatively more recent in that regard. Because... and not even recent, it's just... it's beating a dead horse. All Elite Wrestling, which is, this upstart indie outlaw professional wrestling company that has been around for 5 years. Now, there are some parts of AEW that I certainly enjoy. Will Ospreay, some of the tag team matches some of the indie tag teams that, some of them I know personally. And, I'm a fan of Bryan Danielson. I like Adam Cole when he's healthy and shit and blah. Jamie Hayter, she's awesome. There's a few things to AEW I enjoy. MJF, Long Island's own, by the way. But there is a fine line to be drawn between, hey, this shit is good, to, oh God, what are you doing? And Tony Khan, the owner, the billionaire owner, the GM, the head of creative, boss man of All Elite Wrestling, continues to find ways, rather hilarious ways, might I add, to punt the momentum that this company had. Take a wild guess to find it. I want you to Google for me. When was the last time All Elite Wrestling hit 1 million viewers? Just 1 million. Just 1 million. February of 2023 was the last time that this company hit 1 million viewers. They are right now approaching the 400,000s in terms of viewership. The lowest in the history of the key demo of that show. The talent cannot get over. The fans are dwindling. Over in Lexington, Kentucky, the Rupp Arena, which seats 23,000 people. AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday, or 2 Wednesdays ago, I think it was, just had 5,000 people in that arena. They're not even trying to hide it, the fact that the shows not only stink, and guys like Chris Jericho, who are past due retirement, are driving these fans away because these shows are terrible. Sure, the matches are okay, but for the rest of it, they stink. They stink. And it's not even just they stink, it's a fucking blibbit. It's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Levels of bad. Oh my God. And the absolute hilarious part about this whole thing is that it's their own damn fault. It's their own damn fault. Because, again, I mentioned Tony. Tony Khan refuses to understand that his show and his creative just flat out is garbage. And you're pushing guys like Chris Jericho who don't need to wrestle anymore to title shots. And you are dwindling the value of your championships. At some point, you might as well just call them participation trophies. Because that's what this is. Do you know how many championships this company has between AEW and Ring of Honor? I think it's something like 20-something. It's insane to think about. And yet, Tony still thinks this is fine. Tony still thinks this is good. Tony Khan, for some reason, still thinks that this is the best wrestling company in the world, and this is where the best wrestle, and everything's fine, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know that meme of the dog that's sitting in a burning house and goes, this is fine. That's Tony Khan. And it's mind-boggling that he doesn't see this. He must be on some sort of drugs. For God's sakes, that's fucking impressive. To be in that much of in denial that your company is hot garbage. Oh my God. And a company, a promotion that you did business with in the past, TNA, is selling out small arenas, like 10,000 seat venues, selling them out. I just saw pictures of the attendance at Victory, at the most recent pay-per-view of TNA, Victory Road. Holy shit, the whole arena's filled for TNA. Think about that shit for a second. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Now, TNA has had their rough moments. It's still not a great wrestling promotion, and and blah blah blah. But at least they're trying. At least they're trying, even though they fired Scott D'Amore. At least they are trying, and they're improving quite a bit. So, the next thing I wanted to get to is I'm having a very interesting conversation within my brain, which is never a good idea. And it's an ongoing debate between physical media and digital media. I keep having this discussion for some reason because I just recently got the original Xbox. I fucking love this thing. This thing is awesome, and I promised my wife to be that I would not get any more consoles, and I intend to keep that promise. Because I don't need it. I don't need the new shit. And when I saw that the PS5 Pro was being listed for just under $800, I'm like, or $700, it's like, Christ, no. And it's insane. And that is where this whole argument started for me, the whole physical media versus digital media. Is when you get to these consoles, like the Xbox Series X, which I own, to a certain degree, the PS4 and the PS5, the 360 back in its day had digital copies of games. And streaming was just starting to get popular when, Netflix was out and stuff like that. And now you have, 12 different streaming platforms, between YouTube TV, Netflix, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu, blah 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 blah. It just keeps going. It keeps fucking going. And I have a collection of DVDs that I may or may not get rid of down the road, depending on how everything works out. Down the road. Yeah. And I find myself very conflicted in this regard because I love my physical media. To the left of me, I have a Husky toolbox, well, 2 drawers in this case, that are filled with games, ranging from the GameCube, 360, original Xbox, PS2, PS4, the Wii, Switch, and the Xbox One Series X consoles. I have a lot of shit. Am I proud of it? Yeah, I am. I'm never bored. I get to do this stuff too. Thumbs up. And then I also enjoy getting up and, just putting a DVD in or whatnot. I have a pretty interesting DVD collection, I will say so myself. But I also enjoy streaming. Do you see where my problem is? I love streaming movies. The whole infinite amount of streaming in terms of movies and shows is great. I love that. But I also enjoy my physical copies of games. Like some of these games I've had for over 20 years. It's nuts the amount of shit that I have in terms of gaming. But I love every single copy I have. The DVDs, same thing. I love my DVDs. Some of the DVDs I've had for, 15, 20 years. And they still work. I think this whole debate, it depends on who you ask. What do I think truly? I'm a mixture of both. It's like my view on life. I really don't care. Still want, shit to make me happy. But I had a thought and I lost it. Well, fuck. Hold on. I need to take a sip of my coffee. Even though it's 8 o'clock at night. And I don't give a shit. I love this shit. I love doing this stuff. So, I'm a mixture of both when it comes to this whole thing. I like both sides of this coin here. The door swings both ways in this case. Which is cool. Which is nice. I'm losing shit to talk about. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Staniel Smooth. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Staniel Smooth Show. I'm coming to you from the lovely beaches of Long Island, New York. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the show for more content, and I will see you all in this life and more certainly the next one. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a good night.